What is up, people? It is me, Monster58, and welcome back to another video review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy United Court Class Bouldercrash from the Infernac universe, another Rock Lord in the first wave of Legacy United, and this is something that interested me. Again, I enjoy minerals and stuff like that, so getting the Rock Lords was pretty cool, and obviously I love giant robots, so this ends up working out, doesn't it, right? But taking a quick look at the little Court Class box here, we do have the Transformers Legacy United, Transformers right there. I believe this is actually my first Core Class review now that I think about it. Infernac Universe Bouldercrash, then we have nice artwork of Bouldercrash there, some more nice artwork of the same artwork, just increased in size right there. Got some of the nice Legacy, 40 years of Transformers Legacy United artwork there, and then obviously your obligatory product shots. Infernac Universe Bouldercrash, converts in 10 steps, and then we obviously have the fact that this is, again, these guys are the armorizers. So that's really enough of the box. And by the way, doesn't really make sense that I'd say get him out of the box because, well, as you can see, there's no one in the box. So without further ado, let's get Boulder Crash out here and see how he is. Alright, people, here we have the Transformers Legacy United Core Class Bouldercrash in his bike mode, and this looks pretty cool. For a Core Class figure, this is actually pretty heftily sized, I think, in my opinion, out of the Core Class ones that I've personally had. Obviously, I know things like, I believe, the Pretenders are also relatively big, but this guy looks very nice. As you can see, zooming in here, you can see the very nice molded detail across this entire guy, the red, and then sort of the lava rock red, like the darker red, and then you have some brown scattered out through here. Then you can see the blade also has some nice red, but you can see, again, just like Magnus, you can see some very nice molded in detail, and I think this guy looks really solid, and you can't necessarily tell this guy is a robot, all things considered. I just really do like how this looks, and I think the vehicle mode, I think they knocked it out of the park. The only thing that looks a bit weird is just this little line here, just this straight line kind of looks funky, especially when you do this. And now, by the way that we're in vehicle mode, I'll just show this accessory off right now. So as you can see, there is a peg right here. So if I bring in, we'll zoom out here. If I bring in someone like I just did a review on this, as you guys remember, the Reactivate Optimus Prime. You can take, this guy and you can put him in and use him as a weapon. So this is the major accessory that you we'll see him come with, and then you can flip this blade up, and then this is like now like a big bladed weapon for Optimus Prime. It looks ridiculous, but the fact that they included that, it still is pretty cool. Again, these guys are meant to be the armorizers, so at the end of the day, this makes sense, but I wanted to show this off now since I do have Boulder Crash in vehicle mode. It's pretty cool, but it doesn't hold in, I don't know, with this Optimus Prime, it doesn't hold in necessarily the best because for some reason the peg holes in Prime's hands aren't the best, but you can see it's something you can do. Again, I'm not going to knock off on you if you do it. You do with your toys and your collectibles what you want to. I'm personally not going to, but it is an option for you to do if you'd like to. And so getting back into the vehicle mode, again, there's really not that much to show. He does roll very nicely because of the way that the wheels are designed. There's no real clearance issues or anything like that in the wheels. I mean, they kind of rub up against this, but they're spaced out enough to where it doesn't really matter. So overall, really solid vehicle mode for just like a little core class guy. I think they did a really nice job. And so for quick vehicle mode comparison, here we have little Mr. Boulder Crash. And here we have his wave mate and his Rock Lord brethren, Magnus. As you can see, like I told you, this is a pretty heftily sized core class for the vehicle mode and even in the robot mode, because if you're looking at these two are relatively almost the same length. Magnus is a hair, you can see that a hair longer, but this guy's a rather normal sized deluxe, so you can see that there is a really nice size between these two. Again, this guy doesn't necessarily feel like a core class. I think he's kind of like in between a deluxe and a core, in my opinion, when it comes to his sizing. But overall, this is a very nice scale, and I do think that these two look very good together with obviously their rock-themed vehicle modes and their, well, rock-themed designs. So I think this looks really, really cool. All right, and finally, let's get into the transformation. Very, very simple. It's a core class figure. What do you expect? It's not that much. So you do have a bit of parts forming, so we'll start off by taking that part off. So if you flip this weapon up and then you just lift up there, then you can remove this. Now, people may say, oh, it's parts forming, but it's a core class figure. Let's cut it some slack. And I think the vehicle mode looks good enough to where just doing this really isn't all that difficult. So we can set that off to the side. Next thing I like to do is come down here to the legs, and then you can just untab them from here and then rotate them down. So as you can see, there are essentially tabs, holes right there, and then there's tabs on the sides of the feet that tab into those, and those just accordion up. So just accordion those down, and then you can take this section and rotate it. This is the only part of the transformation that's a little bit finicky, because the clearance when you rotate this for the legs really isn't all that great, in my opinion. You know, I really wish it was a bit better, but it's fine. Otherwise, next thing you want to do is take the arms, and then you can just essentially untab them a little bit, and then rotate them around, like so. All you have to do left, rotate this down. Well, actually, rotate this around. Rotate this down on his back, and then flip this down. And then, ladies and gentlemen, well, you just got to tab those in, like that. I'm going to give him his weapon, so there's a tab, as you can see there, and it just fits right into his hand. So, goes in pretty damn well. Nothing really to complain about here. But, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Transformers Core Class Legacy United Infernac Universe Bouldercrash in his little robot mode. And I gotta say, guys, this guy looks pretty nice. I mean, I can't really complain all too much except for one major complaint I have. I'll say, it's the one complaint I have about this figure in terms of its look in robot mode. But other than that, he's actually pretty clean. In my opinion, he's actually a bit cleaner and a bit more nice than the Core Class Studio Series Rise of the Beasts RC. But as you can see, the only major backpack is really this, but this is the only other part that really kind of bothers me, is this part doesn't fold up or anything. I wish it even swung up like this, and that would have looked better, but if you kind of, yeah, you guys can see where I have an issue with this. I don't really have to explain more than just showing you that. It doesn't look right. But other than that, again, he looks good. Taking a look at the head sculpt, you can see very, very nice head sculpt. Very nice red visor, and then all those colors carry throughout. You got this orange now that comes out for the face plate, the face mask, a little red there on top of the head, brown for the rest of it. Very, very nice overall, and I can't really complain all too much. Coming down here, you can just see all the other molded details that he's got, more in the crotch piece there on the legs. Just looks really, really solid, and even here on the weapon, you can see again that detail comes out here, more detail here on the actual painted part, more here on the other molded parts. Again, this guy just looks pretty solid for a little core class figure, and I'm very, very happy with what they did. So I have really no major complaints, and since I've shown you the accessory, there's really not much accessories for you to show. So I think that just leaves us to comparisons. So we're going to set this guy a bit off to the back there, and you might see the camera angle change, but we'll set him off to the back there. Alright, so first off, here he is with the Core Class Studio Series 86 Frenzy. Review coming for this guy very soon. Here he is with his Wavemate as well as Rocklord Brethren Magnius. As you can see, the difference here, obviously, you can definitely see the size making this guy core class, and you can see how this guy is a deluxe. Very nice scale between the two. Obviously, I have no actual scale to go off of, so I'm just gonna I just like it, so I think it works really well. I have, again, nothing to go off of, so I think this scales pretty well. And finally, because I brought him out earlier for the review, here he is with the Transformers Reactivate 2-pack Voyager class Optimus Prime. And again, you can see the major size difference between these two. But again, I think that Bouldercrash is very well scaled for being a core class, and I think he's actually a bit chunky and a bit bigger for being a core class figure than you'd expect. Alright, and with that, there's pretty much nothing else to show besides like his accessory a little more up close, so I guess I will show that up close. So taking a look again, you can see the very nice molded in details, and again, the very easy way to do this is just to flip this like this. That's literally how you make it, and then again, there's just the peg hole in there. Overall, it looks very, very nice. Again, nice molded in detail, nice different colors of paint. I think that works for a rock lord like this guy, and they all kind of blend in, but when you get it up close, the paint color differences, definitely you can see them. But yeah, looks pretty solid, and I think from there it's just the articulation. So when it comes to the articulation, his head is on a little of a bit of a ball joint, so you can look up a little bit, you can look down a little bit. You actually can do a full 360. Arms do a full 360. You do have no upper bicep rotation, but you do have a ball joint at the elbow, so you can get upper bicep rotation like movements. No waist. Oh, there is full waist articulation, but it's weird because like of the clearance, it just doesn't feel the best. But you do have full waist. You can get a full 360, but it's just kind of annoying because everything bumps into this little bit here. Your legs go back. They also kick forward pretty far. There is more than 90 degrees at the elbow, no ankle rockers. So despite his little small stature, you can actually get some pretty cool poses out of this guy, and I definitely think that, again, for the size of him, for what you're paying for him, the play factor that you can turn him into a weapon, I do think that he is pretty cool overall. All right, and from there, it's finally time to get into the transformation, back to bike mode. So, very simple, so just remove this, and we'll set that off to the side for now. And then very simple from here, so take the waist, very quickly, rotate it around. And then what you can do is you can just leave the legs there for now. Fold this little panel up to cover his face, and straighten his face out, by the way. Fold the tire and the front of the bike all the way back over his face. Then you can just rotate this all the way around. Unpeg the arms, rotate them all the way around, and then what you can do here is that there are little slots in the side of his arms there, and then there are these little pegs right there. So when you have them rotated, you can just kind of push them down like this, and all you got to do is take these legs, accordion them up, and then push these tabs into these holes again. So very simple, like that. Then do this like that. Set him down like this. And then just take the top section here, and then you can just fold this down, and then what essentially you'll see is that there are two tabs, two holes, one there, one there. And then there's tabs here as well as here on either side, and then you just got to line those up with the tabs and the holes on the bottom here, and then just sort of push it down, just got a little bit like that, push it down like that. And ladies and gentlemen, here we do have the Transformers Legacy United Core Class Bouldercrash from the Infernac universe back in his little bike mode. And so, guys, for my final and concluding thoughts on the Transformers Legacy United Infernac Universe Core Class Bouldercrash, this guy's pretty solid. Again, for someone who doesn't know really anything about the Rock Lords, I do think that this guy succeeds in doing what they want these guys to do, is be armorizers. Now, for the time being, I do think that in comparison to the first releases of the Junkions over Legacy Evolution, I do think that those have more play factor, and I do think that those are a bit more well done overall. But the way that these guys are being done is not bad at all. And again, I think that for a way to introduce armorizers, I think doing the Rock Lords is actually a pretty cool thing to do. So again, I'm happy with this guy. Some other people can criticize the play factor, because there really isn't too much play factor except turning the actual bike into a blade by just flipping that little blade up, blade down on top of the front of the bike. But again, I do think that it is pretty cool, and I do like Bouldercrash overall. So out of a 10, I gotta probably give this guy probably an 8, because I think that, again, given his size, his articulation, the paint that's done on him, the play factor, I think for a core class, this is very well done, except, again, the only major complaint I have is literally that massive little spire that sticks out of his back that looks like you already know what. So I picked mine up on the Big Bad Toy Store. I will leave links to Big Bad Toy Store in the description so you guys can pick this up and other figures that you'd like to pick up. In addition, I will also leave links to both Hasbro Pulse as well as Amazon so you guys can go take a look at those as well. And I think really that's about it. There's really not too much else to this, guys. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, to rate, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also follow me in the socials linked in the description below. And with that, guys, I thank you once again so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will catch you all on the next one. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace.